Hi, we are live. This is Crypto Happy Hour.
Yay.
I'm Bill.
I'm happy.
I'm happy. This is Happy.
You're Bill.
I'm Bill. This is Toby.
Happy Toby.
We are here to talk crypto. We are here to get you enthusiastic. Toby, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What
This is my favorite show.
Crypto Happy Hour?
It is because I get to drink on air.
Well, what could be more fun?
Well,
don't answer that. That's the late night show.
But it does, I don't know. I think it makes it fun. I mean, I've got kombucha with a little tequila. So it's healthy.
It's healthy?
It's like Bloody Marys.
Right on.
There's vegetable in it. It's healthy.
Right.
And what are you drinking?
I don't know. I've got coffee and protein. So
healthy.
So healthy.
Yeah. I love that.
Not as much fun. All right. All right. We are welcoming, forget about it, Trisha. Steve is here.
I hope you have drinks.
I hope you have drinks.
Tell us what you're drinking.
Trisha says exactly. It's healthy. Trisha is a big fan. You have two huge super fans out there.
I love you, Trisha.
Trisha is a Patreon member as well. It's just a brief reminder that this show is brought to you by our Patreon, right?
Yes.
Patreon.com/unhinged crypto. Check it out in the link down below in the description as people file on in.
I know if you're not drinking, you should be.
That's right. It's other sites tell crypto bros to touch grass. We tell you to
that's a good thing.
Get your kombucha on. That's
right. I make my own.
You do.
Mm-hmm. And I've asked you to try it. You tried it. You did not like it. It's an acquired taste.
Well, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah, I get it.
All right. So
what are we talking about today, Bill?
Well, let's talk about enthusiasm in crypto.
That's a good thing.
People love it when it goes up, but that only lasts for like a day or two, and then everybody goes, oh, and a lot of people want to know, like, when is the fever going to come back? You know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely by September.
Yeah.
I told you before, I don't know if we did it on a show, but when we talked earlier this spring, I was like, this summer is going to be like a milder repeat of last summer.
Right.
So I think most of the volatility is over as far as the wild swinging, the weebles wobbling.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know. They were cute. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, we do.
Weebles.
Yeah.
But when you knock them first, they whoop, whoop, whoop like this. And then gradually it just kind of mellows out until eventually they stop, which, we don't really want things to stop.
No.
But the wild swings are over, and I think we'll see a repeat of last year. We're in what I said last year was like the very beginning or near the very beginning of the decoupling, right? And so that's what makes this year and last year and next year will be even more interesting because of the decoupling. We're going to have to learn, all kinds of new ways of looking at the market. We can't rely on, this is what it did before, so it's going to do that exact same thing again. But to me, that's really exciting because this is what I've been waiting for.
Right.
This is why I got into it, is because I don't want something that follows the market. Right. I don't want to put money in coins that are just going to follow Bitcoin. Then just go into Bitcoin. Right. I want multiple avenues of investing that have different speeds. And this is what we've seen this spring. Right. So when Bitcoin was down, there was a lot of things that were still performing, and that to me is exciting. It gives you a lot to look forward to. Right. So
because you were talking about a double decoupling, right? Like Bitcoin leaving TradFi, and then
yes, that's very exciting.
Altcoins, having a mind of their own. I mean, people are so not used to that. That would be.
Yeah. Well, and we saw some of that last year. It's interesting because it kind of started with the meme coins.
Right.
And I think it's easy to be kind of bleh about things right now because, we just had the pre-having excitement and everybody got all, and people get bored really easily.
Right.
But this is the time to get your shit together, before the next thing goes. Don't miss opportunities, and that's why I think we're putting out some more stuff. And it's easy to put out stuff in the store when things are moving, right?
Right.
But it's more important for people to get in, before things really go big, which we did quite a few of those. And notably, Solana was a big one. I was so hot on Solana last spring. And there's some stuff now, that I showed you is in the report. Right. So,
but the small caps, we have the small caps are in the store.
Super excited about that.
Right. And then we have the medium sized coins. It's like we're trying to figure out what the next big coins are. Right. So, that's actually coming to the store in a couple of days.
Yeah. The small caps are what's really getting me excited right now.
Okay.
I think because there's a lot of potential.
Right.
So I'm super excited. There's a ton of new stuff coming out, and I'm excited about the technology and where this all leads. I feel like everything, not everything because we're not quite there, but a lot of the things that got me excited about investing in crypto in the beginning, the potentiality of it, we're starting to see some fruit of it, right? And that's super, super exciting,
I know today's the 10-year anniversary of Ethereum. So the
hard to believe.
Ethereum ICO was 10 years ago in 2014.
Yeah.
Right. Back in the day. So happy birthday to Vitalik and friends.
And we have
there.
The ETF. So
right. The ETH ETF starts trading tomorrow.
Excellent.
So happy anniversary all the way around. And the thing that's so funny is, ETH can't get anything going on the upside. It's funny, right? Because
it appears to me that with the especially Bitcoin and ETH, I think because they're the most well known, and a lot of people are going into them, they've kind of stabilized in a way, so they're not as exciting, right? And so
if I say you can't have a cycle without ETH, and Wall Street investment banks are going to use Ethereum to get online. Goldman's made announcements. I mean, am I being a boomer in crypto by saying, "Oh, you can't have a cycle without ETH," or is it just going to all be new stuff? Right? Is it going to be new stuff and old stuff, or?
Okay, I don't understand the question.
Okay, so is Ethereum ever going to come back and get that sexy factor like Solana, or is Ethereum now in like boomer crypto category?
Okay, so I'm not sure what you mean by boomer crypto, but I get the feeling that it's something around the older, more established things are just not going to be as sexy,
right?
But that doesn't mean they're bad,
right?
But yeah, the I guess to me, like how I think about it is very different from how you think about it, right?
Okay.
So for me, things are being built on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So yeah, absolutely, their prices will go up. But I do think because they're more established and the ETFs, that's going to cause some stability, but that's okay. I mean, you still want it, right? I mean, it's a platform. Everything that does well on that platform will make the platform do well. But it depends on what you're looking for,
right?
So and how I started was in the big coins, right? Because it felt safer and it was a very volatile market at the time, right? But now there's so much new technology coming on board. So that's where you get your excitement. keep those things, but spice things up by looking at these exciting new technologies. Get your excitement from that.
So you're all about pushing out, taking more risk within reason over the summer, right?
This is a good time to take risk because it's so slow and everything else, and because of the decoupling. It's very likely that you can hit something, that's going up mildly now, but when the market gets hot again,
right?
I mean, to me, this is all just like based on human psychology. So right now, we had that, beginning of the year, pre-halving boom, and everybody was excited, and then things get calm and people get scared or worried or bored or whatever, right? But in order to be successful, you have to take your emotions out of it, right? And look at things from, I call it investing from the heart, right? Like, I fall in love with things because I'm a very romantic person. And then those are the things I want, and I think having a more analytical approach to it, it's not bad, but it's not as good an energy, right? And I'm all about the energy of things, and I think that's what makes me a good predictor of what's going to go up, because I feel things are exciting.
So you still got that loving feeling about Solana?
I do. I still like Solana. You know what? They have not hit their full stride yet, so there's still a lot of growth with Solana. And if you were sorry, if you were to ask me right now, if you gave me three choices, where would you have a limited amount of a budget of what you want to put money in, which one of those three, you could only do one, I would go into Solana, especially because they just had a dip. I mean, they're going to recover and and go beyond that. They're still growing. They're like a teenager, so
right. Well, you
there's a lot more volatility with them, but when there's volatility, that means room for profits to me.
Right. You can feel, I think, the bigger players. Solana did nothing for a while, for like 11 weeks. They pressed Solana and kind of kept it down. And then Solana just sort of floated to the surface and went up.
Yeah.
Recently you can tell bigger players, frankly, are buying it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, that was the thing. When it started going down, rather than getting worried, I go, oh, sale. I mean, I love my shopping. When something, I don't understand why people don't approach it this way, right? But yeah, when things go down, if you really love them, I mean, that's the thing. I believe in the project. I feel a lot of potential there. So, when it takes a dip, I'm like, oh, it's on sale. Let's buy more now, But not everybody's like that, because there are a lot of people who are really unsure because they're not in love. You got to be in love. You got to be in love with what you do.
Got to be in love with your crypto.
You got to be in love with crypto. You got to be excited about the potential. And then, because you're in love, you're willing to take those risks, right? You're willing to put your energy into it. But if you're nervous, then you should just go into Bitcoin and don't buy anything else. Just forget about it. That's the only choice. Do Bitcoin. It's safe. It's been around long enough. It's secure enough. You're going to be good. Bitcoin is going to perform amazing this year. And if you're going to lose heart, if you don't have the heart to do it, then don't. That's how I feel.
Well, we want to give people every chance to recover, especially when they get down. That's part of crypto happy hours, giving people that boost. Now,
well, I just want them to fall in love.
That's right. That's right. So
tonight, the theme of tonight is
falling in love.
Love. Yeah.
That's right.
Love is a beautiful place to be.
So if you fall in love with crypto, right? Can crypto like save you if something strange happens? Like, is crypto going to experience this glorious, wonderful, like everybody get a Lamborghini moment, or is crypto going to be this like essential thing that everyone's going to need? You know what I mean?
I would say of those two options, I mean, I have a different perspective altogether, but if you're giving me those two options, I'm going to say essential. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Like, so people who were early investors, we were riding the wild bronco, right? The ups and the downs, but you were there because you believed in the ultimate. And then I think a lot of people came in and they wanted that Lamborghini moment, but they weren't in love. You know, they were treating Bitcoin like it was a hooker. You know, like, what are you going to do for me? Oops. Oops, not PG show.
Sorry,
Toby's on. Right, but yeah, and that's why I like this focus that we're having tonight about, you know, loving this thing. So for me, it's more than a utilitarian thing, but of those two options, yeah, it's the thing people are going to have, you know, especially with all the volatility going on in the world, which I know you report on a lot and I mostly ignore. It's my jam.
Right, well, I'm keeping that to a minimum tonight. I know to keep that to a minimum on Crypto Happy Hour, but I think
don't ask me about politics. I hate politics.
All right, well, no, we won't ask you about politics, but it is interesting that you find it like kind of essential.
I think it will be. At what point in the future? That is hard for me to predict.
Right.
But much further in the future. But that's the thing about it, like, time is compressing right now, right? I mean, when you look at like technology, and we're all very run by technology now. But there are things that we're able to do. I mean, AI is a good example of that, where it is doing things that people didn't think, you know, they thought that wouldn't happen for 20 years out. So things are compressing. Things will happen a lot faster than we believe, right? So be prepared. But, you know, lead from here and, you know, forget about the Lamborghini hooker moment. It's like,
right. Well, you know, there's a lot of people out there, like a lot of people in the Patreon group, you know, they love, like, say, Bitcoin mining stocks. You know, hedge funds got all negative on those. So,
that's,
you know, we
good.
have
Whatever the hedge funds are negative on, that's it. I mean, you don't even need my advice. Just whatever the hedge funds are negative on, buy that. That's a great strategy.
Write that
because
down,
they're
people.
Wrong. Well, yeah. I mean, even historically, but yeah. But I mean, that's the way I approach kind of all of investing. You know, people kind of have a herd mentality in a lot of ways.
Right.
And so I'm always like, well, what do people not like right now? That's probably the thing I want to get into. If I like it, I mean, I'm not going to invest in some turd thing I don't care about, you know. But if everybody's like, oh, this is not good. I mean, when I got into Bitcoin, people were like, oh, no, that's dangerous. You know, it's a scam or whatever thing. And I'm like, no, I believe in the technology, you know, and I believe in the potentiality that's there. And so we go back to my original philosophy, which is hard investing, you know.
Right. And that could be good advice for the little guy, right? Because a lot of people are always asking, like, you know, what do I do if I have limited funds? You know, if I can't have 4 or 5 coins. I think sometimes a lot of people get confused and they miss this whole point about, you know, basically falling in love with crypto. Right. And getting involved any way you can.
Well, my friends, and I still have friends, oddly enough, who are not in crypto at all, but they're curious about it. And when they ask me, I'm like, well, you know, if you're not in love, then do Bitcoin. Do the basic ones. For a beginner, I think that's good. Do Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, right?
And then sure. And then there's the AI trade. You know, the AI trade in stocks is over with a capital O.
Oh, well, I've been saying that since the beginning. Actually, last year, I'm surprised that it held on this long, because last fall, I was like, "Ooh, we're really close to the top. This is overinflated." So I'm surprised that it's taken this long.
Right.
But for me, that was, watch to sell, because it was overhyped. And I saw a lot of similarity between that and the last big tech market crash.
Right, 2000, right.
Yeah.
So the big question is,
I mean, I was an infant, but I was told about it.
Right,
so.
right. We were in high school, right?
I was like 6.
The big question is,
but my parents,
your parents told you about it, and they got caught.
Actually, my dad did.
They were along pets.com.
My dad was big into tech stocks, and he was really kind of butthurt about the whole thing. And I mean, I was just 6, but I was telling him, "Hey, Dad, don't worry, it's going to be okay.
You can buy crypto in 10 years."
Yeah, wait around. Something better's coming.
Something better's coming along.
I knew it. I just knew it in my heart.
And because one of the big things, because everybody in TradFi is talking about the 2000 issue, the parallel, and it's either like
everybody.
Yeah, everybody loves to talk about parallels. Everyone's got a graph.
Yeah.
It's comparing now in 2000.
I'm sorry, my allergies have been really bad.
And the question is, will it be a repeat of this like 2-year cleansing decline that they had, or in
just crypto, or in
in equities, or is it going to be this thing where equities slump and crypto really takes off?
I think the slump in that is definitely going to help crypto. Here's the thing. Again, I'm going to go back to the acceleration, right?
Right.
So because everything technology related is accelerating so fast, I don't think we're going to have as big a slump as we did back then, because it's so integral to our life.
Right.
It's like oil, right? It's like it can slump or it can go way high. There's volatility, but it's never going to go away because we need oil, Right. So I think technology is like that too. But what I would do, and I'm not invested in a lot of those, but I would be, I would have already been taking profits and looking for the next big thing. Again,
in crypto.
Well, crypto I think is way easier right now. But you were asking me about the market.
Okay, got it.
That I think there's a lot of new companies that are going to be coming up.
Really?
And so you could do that. But in the meantime, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think crypto is the best thing that's happened in a really long time. It has a lot of potential. So I have friends who are like, oh, I've got a lot of tech stocks and my returns have been really good. I'm like, that's good for now.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been telling them, since last fall. But some people are really comfortable with that,
Right.
And not everybody wants to listen. I mean, what do I know?
Right. Well, speaking of listening, I'm not sure people have fully absorbed what players like BlackRock want to do in terms of bringing traditional finance on chain, right? Rumor has it, the guy that runs BlackRock may wind up in a high-level government position, right? Which
doesn't really mean anything to me.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
Well,
because I'm just trying to get a flavor for, when these guys come in, the flow of announcements,
so
the things
people
that they're
who have been
about.
in TradFi for a long time, right? I don't think a lot of them see the potential in all of this. So I don't see that. I don't. I know you have said that, that you think if this person comes in, they're going to put everything on the blockchain.
Well,
but I don't
with
think that's
or without
true
the person. Okay, go ahead.
I don't think that's true. I think that, and this is why I love the crypto so much better. It's such a fast-moving, innovative market, whereas Wall Street is boring and so people who come from that world, and I know you came from that world, so it's interesting.
But I'm way less boring.
But they're I don't know about that. Let me think. No.
Come on, look at this stylish shirt. Come on.
Drink your coffee.
Right. Drink your protein shake, Grandpa.
No, but I do think there is that mentality is they want something that's a little more tried and true and trust tested. It's going to move slower. I don't think that if you want to know what I'm excited, I just don't think that that's a thing that you should care about, because I don't think it's going to have a huge impact at this point in time. We're a few years out from that, right?
Okay.
Maybe 5 to 10. I mean, those big entities move fairly slow. I mean, so to me, bringing all of that, I know you mentioned like bonds going on the blockchain. Oh God, that's at least 10 years out. Wow. Is my thought. I mean, things are accelerating so much, so it's hard to pinpoint dates. But you're talking about the government. Like, when do they ever move fast? I mean, it takes them forever to make a decision about anything.
Right.
So I wouldn't count on it. And I really feel like, I don't really like talking about politics because people get really heated. But my opinion about it is it doesn't really matter who's in office. Things move very slowly. You go through the last few presidents that have been around since I've been alive, and all of them promise something and they can't do it because it's such a big organization. They just can't move things. So that's fine. Let them do whatever they want. I don't really care, because we're decoupling from all of that. That's a beautiful thing.
So that sounds like DeFi over real world assets. I know we got Steve out there who's into DeFi. So, there are DeFi protocols that have been around. I mean, they've been around for 4 years.
Yes. That's one of my big ones. And you bring up real world assets, and I'm like, that's good, but we're not quite there yet. So we're seeing these interesting concepts, right?
Right.
But the potential isn't there. I'm a little more hesitant about that. And I know you're big in it, and I think it's great. I think it's something you should keep your eyeballs on. And if somebody's bringing something on the blockchain that you feel, a real world asset that you feel really strongly about, then, go with your heart. But like the DeFi stuff, that's super sexy to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know Steve's out there. There are projects.
Hi, Steve. I don't know Steve.
Steve, yeah, no, Steve's a big fan of the show. Big DeFi guy.
Yeah.
Steve was never not into DeFi, right? It never went out of style for him.
Yeah.
So
Well, I've been talking about the DeFi stuff since last year when we started, right?
Right, because there's new DeFi stuff like Arrow and TrueFi and TrueFi.
I was big on Arrow earlier this year.
Right.
I think it might be going into a butterfly stage for now. But.
Okay. Yeah. So TrueFi is pretty simple, right? It's normal lending on the blockchain. It's like straight up and down.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. So it's,
And these cross-chain narratives.
Well, you know how long I've been talking about that.
Right.
Since the end of last year.
That's right.
Yeah. Anybody who bought any of the reports earlier this year, that was one of my big emphases was anything cross-chain.
Right. The ability to go from Bitcoin, Solana to Ethereum.
And there's so much coming out. It's super exciting. Super exciting. So if you said to me, if you gave me a list of buckets, which is what I call them, right? So, of real world assets, gaming, DeFi, and cross-chain, I would go in my order of favorites of what to look at. I would go cross-chain, DeFi, gaming, real world assets. And I think it's not because I don't like those things. I think it's because of where they are developmentally.
Really?
Yeah. I think that cross-chain is so critical to the growth of the layer ones.
Right.
They're without it, they're going to reach a maximalist point where the growth will really, really slow down. So the cross chain is critical to keep that going, right? DeFi because it just makes sense. Like it works hand in hand with, with the whole concept, right? Gaming will eventually be super huge, and I'm still looking at, I give you my gaming picks every once in a while. There's just not a ton that I'm super excited about because I don't think it's reached that potential. But I think that's the onboarding for everybody who's not already into crypto. So critical. Real world assets are, I think they're going to be super important. They just haven't really reached that point of people understanding even what it is to get some real traction in the market. All important. They're all big buckets for me, and I look at them, but I'm just telling you where I see the most immediate potential for growth, the most products as well. Like I said, I love gaming. I know that's going to be great. It's going to be huge in the future. Huge, right? But there's just not a lot of options that seem sexy to me at this point. Okay. And very little in real world assets. There's a few things that I'm kind of like, that could be interesting, but nothing where I'm like, whereas when you talk cross chain, I'm like, oh my God, I love this.
Right.
So much stuff going on.
Sounds like we got to do a cross chain report. Maybe.
Yeah. You can talk me into anything. Twist my arm.
AI and crypto, right?
Oh yeah.
So
it's very sexy right now. It hasn't reached the point where I think its potential is fully realized. But I'm big on AI. I'm always giving you my AI picks as well. So yeah.
It's like I guess it's not if it's big, it's a question of how big. Nvidia went to like a 2 or 3. Nvidia was moving, its market cap was moving in $1 trillion increments, right, on the way up. And you can just imagine a world where crypto starts moving like that in the AI space, like things like just like take Render, right? Or there's this new AI super token coming out. There's also something called Morpheus. I don't know the name of the super token. Anybody knows the name of the super token, feel free to drop in the chat. But
are there people chatting?
Are there people chatting?
Do you want to chat?
Trisha is still.
Do they have questions?
Okay, Trisha is into DeFi. She's like Uniswap, Link, the Graph, Phantom, Aave, Synthetics, Compound. Like these are all big things from the last cycle. UMA is in there.
Oh yeah,
right. Like and then AP13. That is wow. That is a blast from the past. But yeah, Joe Mike is here. Welcome. Yeah, so a lot of guys are into DeFi who watch the show.
Oh, good. If they want to, put what they're into, I'm curious and tell you what I think. Trisha,
yeah.
What did she say? Aave. Oh yeah, Curve. One of my favorites. Right. That's been on my hot list.
Trisha says she's all in on miners. Cuboid is here, right? I think that's another one of your super fans. Hello to Cuboid. How you doing? Right? Trisha says, I'm a risk taker. Why not? Right?
Why not? I guess she got bored.
Trisha said I got bored in some of my DeFi, but Toby is
That's true. I mean, there was a lull. I was super excited early on, and but again, I go with the heart thing. So I don't know. Let me get into my bubbles. I mean, so you're getting ready to put out a report, right? And what was the heavy emphasis in that?
Well, the heavy emphasis on that, we can give people a teaser.
Okay.
Was bottom line was Polkadot, right? Like everybody is super down on Polkadot, right?
That's why I love it.
Right. But our work indicated something else.
Yeah, I think something's coming for that. I got a lot of exciting stuff going on in the Polkadot world.
Right.
So
there's how many people.
So now you can do Polkadot.
Right.
If you're bored, go to Polkadot.
That's right. Well, if Polkadot becomes like Uni, Uni,
yes,
right. Cuboid is into Uni. That was an
early
Uniswap
pick of mine this year too. So
Right.
good for that. I still like it.
Still like it?
Still like it.
Yeah, that's, the good old days of Uniswap. And,
so if I was to pick a bucket to focus on,
yeah,
it would be the cross chain. And that's why you said you want to put out a cross chain report. I think that's a really good idea. I think I'm seeing
that's Rune. Rune is like the lead cross chain thing. And
well,
who knows, maybe we got to get into
Rune.
Cross chain small caps, right? If it's going to be that
well,
big.
I think I gave you a couple, didn't I?
Yeah,
there
was a couple of them in the last report.
There were smaller in the last report.
Yeah.
There's exciting stuff going on. So if you're bored and you want to look at an exciting bucket right now, the cross chain stuff, and even to like being at consensus, there was a lot of interesting stuff coming up. Right in this cross chain. So to me, that's where the excitement is right now. Trisha, go look at all the cross chain stuff. Tell me what you like. That's where I'm feeling like I mean, there's so much, I get excited all the time about all the new stuff coming out. I'm waiting for gaming though. I mean, that will be when we really start to see gaming take off. That will be the big change moment. As an onboarding, for people coming into crypto. So I'm super excited about that.
So it sounds like
the Web3, the gaming, and I've given you a lot of picks that I like on, those kind of platforms that you can build all that stuff on. Those are very exciting too. So cross chain, anything.
Layer ones for gaming, anything that's a foundation. Because it sounds like once gaming gets rolling,
it'll be huge.
Right. It's like I'm listening to you say that, and I'm like, well, don't be afraid to sort of what they say, 8-bit. Like, don't be afraid to buy high to sell higher once gaming starts.
Oh, well, there will be a time. I mean, there were many times in the past where, I bought Bitcoin at a high, but it doesn't matter now. You know what I mean?
Right.
A high relative to what? Just a silly to think that way. I don't like that mentality, because if you believe in something, you want to believe it's going to go higher, so you don't care, and that fear of not buying at the lowest point. Okay, so I did not buy Bitcoin at its lowest point, but I am so comfortable with that, because when I bought Bitcoin, it's way higher now. So what do I care? And I expect it to go even higher. So again, what do I care?
Right. Well, people see the red ink can mess with certain people's minds, right? That's why we have.
Well, that's why
crypto
we're having
shows.
This happy hour.
That's why we're having
this happy hour, to tell people, don't worry, we're still going up. So this is actually a really exciting time, because everything's on sale.
Right. Well, I mean, that was the way it was last year. I mean, when they dropped it in July.
I know, and I kept saying, this is great.
They dropped it in August.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just sat there and dealt with either the red ink or the boredom or both, that paid huge. And in the last cycle, they went all the way up, all the way down, and then it really took off. Yep. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened again this time. Yeah,
that's what I said. This year will be a repeat of last year. I think the dip's not so extreme, but yeah, I see. Whatever. If you want timelines, look at last year. But if you want buckets, things are totally different this year. It depends on where you're putting your money, because there's a lot of opportunity in things that are decoupled and they'll be influenced by it, but are going to rise all on their own. Even if Bitcoin goes down, there are things that you can find that'll still be going up. So you should be very excited. This is one of the best times to really put money into crypto. I mean, it's better than the very beginning. In the beginning, it was boring. I mean, there was a lot of volatility, but now you have so many exciting projects that you can, be a part of.
So on exciting projects, right? I'm sure people, some people in the chat have got coins from like prior cycles. Examples are, Litecoin, Cardano, XRP, Chainlink,
XRP.
right?
I like XRP.
Yeah, you like XRP?
Yeah.
Because, people are always like, is my coin going to come back, or is it going to be all new stuff? Right.
Oh,
and
no.
There's a lot of people. There are a lot of things people gave up. People gave up on Cardano, Polkadot.
They should not give up on Polkadot. We have not seen the maximum for Polkadot yet. And, and I like Cardano. I think this is where the love comes in. Like, if you have kids, and I have kids, right? Like, they can perform badly every once in a while, but you don't stop loving them. So you don't go like, oh, that's it.
So XRP is like your teenager that just won't clean up its room. You know what I'm saying? Is that what we're saying?
I like XRP. I'm not hot on it right now.
Okay.
Right. So, I have 5 kids, right?
Right.
And you always have your favorite in the moment.
in the moment. Right. But
that was always a joke with my kids. Like, well, you're my favorite today.
Well, a lot of people are always asking, like, will my coins come back? Should I dump my coins and go into all new stuff?
Oh, no. But you have to examine it on a case by case basis. And again, it depends on what your objective is. I mean, it's exciting because there's so much new stuff coming out. So if you've got something and you've fallen out of love with it, and it's underperformed for you, maybe then it's time. But if you still love it, if you still feel the potential in it, then maybe you should hold on. I mean, I fell in love with Polkadot like a long time ago, and we've had ups and downs, but I'm still in. And now there's this new stuff, which was in the last report, and that makes me very excited. I see a lot of potential for growth still in that, I like these other things, XRP, Cardano. They're just not as hot right now. So that doesn't mean get rid of them. It just means, maybe scale back or don't put more money in. But you don't want to get, I think in markets, you don't want, or buckets, right? You don't want to play shell games, right?
Right.
I mean, I think meme coins is fun. That's, a casino, right? So you don't like, then you're like a bad boyfriend, right? You like this thing, but the moment it gets a little dull, I'm out and I'm going to switch to something else, which is why I say, for me, investing comes from the heart. Like, if I really believe in the project, I really love what they're doing, I'm going to stay in it until not take profits, maybe, but stay in as long as I still love it and I still believe in the project. And then I take my profits and put them in something new and exciting. So it's kind of like polygamy. So
right.
You got to love the new wife, but also pay attention to the old one.
That's right. You better.
We don't know anything about polygamy. It was a bad joke. But
no,
funny.
it's a good joke.
It was
privacy, right? Like my secret box of chocolates under the bed, Zcash, made a new low at 15 and then came back to 30. Oh. And then there's, Secret.
I was talking about Zcash how long ago?
I don't.
It's been over a month. I think it was at a low, and I was like, I feel like this might come back. Yeah, the privacy stuff is also really big.
Because
that was something we talked about it.
We saw Secret and all this stuff. There's
at Consensus.
There's Houdini. There's Secret Swap coming out. Silent Swap, as I think its name is called.
That's another big one.
Because those guys want to go cross chain with privacy.
Okay, so if it's cross chain, that bumps it up to the top. I don't think people understand the whole privacy sphere enough. I think crypto people more so, right? So I think that's a little bit why it's not quite. I think I put it with gaming, like maybe slightly, like those are super important, but they haven't like built their stride yet. But if there's cross chain in it, that'll bump it to the top.
So cross chain might pull people into privacy eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like people might. Well, let's do this. So, where are people going to trade crypto in the future? Right? Is it going to all be like Coinbase? Is it going to be on Base? Everyone's trying to figure out like what the next big networks are. Right? Everyone was chasing meme coins before, and of course, I know people are interested in like, hey, where are meme coins going? Are we done with that? You know, is pump.fun ever going to go away? Are dogs and cats going to come back?
I played on pump.fun a little bit, and it should be pump.not-fun.
Right.
But I'm not that kind of person, you know?
Right.
To me, it's like, so I used to go to Vegas all the time.
Right.
I'm horrible in Vegas because I'm, you know, I put down $100 and go, and then when I lost it, I'd be like, oh, I could have bought some shoes. You know, I'm just too practical. I'm very lucky, you know, but it doesn't excite me. You know, my heart isn't in it. So, and that was my whole problem with meme coins. There were some that I liked. We did a lot of meme coins last year, right? When I very first came on the show, but I think it's fun, but it just doesn't excite me. It's like an affair. We're gonna go back to the polyamory.
Right. We're gonna go back to.
For me, meme coins are a meaningless fling. You know?
Meaningless fling.
Yeah, because
everyone's like, oh, it's a super cycle and multi-billion-dollar valuations for dogs and cat coins. You know, everyone's got their.
Well, people get excited about it, and we have seen that. But what I would wait for, I mean, I would get into it. It's hard for me to get excited, but when they say that it has utility, then I'm interested. Then I'm like, okay, now you're not just a casual fling. Now you have something to offer me in a relationship. Because we're going to go into this relationship. You better have something to.
So like SocialFi, right? In other words, like people getting paid in crypto moving around on social networks.
That's
people
super
monetizing attention spans.
That's super interesting. What's interesting about that is that's something I predicted so long ago, like 20 years that was the thing. I was actually working with someone on an app way back then, that where people got rewarded for paying attention to things. And I was building something myself. But despite that I think is really important for the future.
Okay. Because that's like, you know, on one hand, there's like a coin like DGen that does things like that.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
and I like DGen.
Friendtech tried it. I don't know how that worked.
Yeah, I didn't feel like they had the right grasp on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the idea that some existing social network like Elon is going to onboard eventually some kind of crypto.
Yeah, that is going to happen. And that'll, you know, like if Doge does that, and you've talked about that being a possibility, then that would be, I mean, I like Doge, and they are bringing some utility on board. So I think that's great. You should probably have a little bit, you know, and I do think that is definitely a potential. Definitely a potential. So it's on my radar, but it's like out here. You know, it's further out in the past. So I'm not super focused on it right now.
Okay.
You know, but if something exciting came up, yeah.
Right. It takes one big player to make an announcement.
Yeah, because they were trying to do that thing on not Telegram, WhatsApp. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there is a Telegram coin called TON. Telegram has a coin.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Telegram has a coin. It's like top 10.
That was one of my picks earlier this year.
Right.
Yeah. I think I picked it because I thought it had a lot of potential for now, but there's so much more coming in the future, you know, so it might get friend zoned.
Friend zoned?
I think we should use the dating analogy.
Right.
You did that before. What were you talking about? Going last year, remember you were like, we're having a relationship with this coin. Yeah. Right. I love that. You know, I love that.
All right. Well, you know, we definitely want to figure out your relationship before this thing takes off. Right. Like it's like speed dating.
I do
get your date and get busy. right? Because once this thing takes off, right now is the time.
Everybody should be really excited right now because there's so much new stuff coming out. And if you just keep those buckets in mind and, look at things from that perspective, then you're going to do great.
Because, Chris is talking about Thor swap.
Oh, so, I think Thor was on one of my lists I gave you, right? When was that? A month or so ago?
The Thor ecosystem is a part of Rune.
Yes. Right? So, and we've been talking about Rune since late last year, early this year. It's been quite a while. Yeah.
Right.
So Thor I like. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up there. I know it's time flies when you're having fun.
Does anybody have a question before we go?
So let's see what else we got here. Yeah, we got Chris, we got Trisha. Let's see if anybody who came in early. Forget About It is back. Hello from Smashville. I guess the only other question that I would have is, Bitcoin Nashville's coming up.
Yeah, how fun.
Everybody in his
I'd go, but I've been banned from Tennessee.
All right.
I was born there.
Oh, really?
They kicked me out when I was a baby. Whoops. No, just kidding. I love Tennessee.
It's kind of, there's a lot of hype around that conference. They got a lot of big speakers, let's say. I don't know. Do you think anything comes out of that? A lot of people.
What do you think is going to come out of it?
Well, I don't know. A lot of times, there can be announcements, public figures can say things. A lot of public figures are speaking at this conference, guys running for office.
Care. Yeah. I'm not a big politics person.
Right. Well,
I think
projects can make announcements too, right? BlackRock can make an announcement. I don't know, Near, Polkadot,
Yes, I would look for that.
Look for anybody who's got anything to say, even quietly.
Yeah. I'm not feeling like anything big is gonna happen until November, right?
That's the next big announcement.
Well, I feel like something's gonna happen in November, but I think right now I think the thing to focus on is looking at these buckets, make sure you got some good stuff in each of them. Start looking for new stuff because things are on sale. New stuff is coming out, exciting new stuff. You don't have to give up on your, last cycle stuff, but check in, But right now I'm just really focused on the potentials because we're getting ready to have this big surge come up, right? So you want to position yourself and buy things while they're on sale. So it's a good time to look at fun stuff and
All right. Well, it was great. It was great having you on the show. Right. Everybody out there, we definitely appreciate you coming on in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.